Welcome back to my channel at The Movie Optimist, everybody. Tonight I just got done watching the newest film, Sonic 3. This movie picks up with Sonic, Knuckles, and Tails out on a camping trip with James Marsden's character and his wife. They're all bonding over the new brotherhood that was formed over the course of the last movie, and James Marsden is throwing Sonic a birthday party. Everything is right in the world, or so it seems, until we cut to Shadow's character and we get to meet him for the first time. He's in this like cryostasis prison, essentially, where he's been locked up for the last 50 years, and something mysterious happens where someone helps him break out. Now, Shadow is really pissed off at the things that caused him to end up in prison. Something heinous happened. He was wronged in a very deep way, and he wants revenge on the people that did it and who put him there. So he goes on a rampage across Tokyo, which is where the prison that was holding him was, and he's too much. He's too powerful for regular guards with guns. So the FBI, well, not the FBI, they call them Gun in this universe, but the FBI reach out to Sonic and recruit him, Knuckles, and Tails to essentially aid them in trying to stop Shadow. So they fly Sonic, Knuckles, and Tails all the way to Tokyo to try and talk reason into Shadow, but he doesn't want to hear it. He just wants to get to the people that wronged him and put them in the ground, essentially. They battle, and they all get their asses kicked by Shadow because, rightfully so, he's awesome. This in turn leads Sonic to the path of Eggman, where he needs to go to him and ask him for help because it's too much for him and Knuckles and Tails to do on their own. And with the brains behind Eggman, they're going to devise a plan to stop Shadow once and for all. Overall, I really like this movie. I don't think it's the best in the franchise. I definitely think that crown still belongs to the second one, just because tonally, everything was balanced perfectly in that film, where everyone had something to do. The action was well placed in the first act, the second act, the third act, something to keep the movie feeling like it was moving forward, where here, it didn't do that as much, and I'll try to explain. First, I'm going to start off with the bad stuff. This movie went a little too much into the Thor, Love and Thunder territory of the balance of the seriousness and the silly was in favor of silly. They definitely had a lot more childlike jokes and puns, and I just thought that it was a little too much. And I get it, Sonic is a kid's video game, and I would be more forgiving of it if it was like that consistently through the first and second one. But the second one did such a good job of balancing that I noticed that flaw here, and it kind of irked me the wrong way a few times in this film. Especially when something very serious is happening and somebody that's making a joke that shouldn't be making a joke is making the joke, and it's just out of place for that character. Also, like I said, with the balance in the second one, where there was kind of action to motivate each act of the film, this one, the first act of the film, was awesome. You see Sonic and Knuckles and Tails, they're all racing, they're having a blast in the woods. There's a lot of creativity in terms of like the light beams that come off of them when they're running, and it felt like you were watching a Sonic video game. It was fun, it was entertaining. And the last act was also amazing, but the middle act I felt started to drag a little bit, and I get why they had to do it because it was exploring Shadow's backstory, but I feel like there should have been a better way to tell it in a way that was a little bit more entertaining, because I noticed some of the kids in my audience getting bored. I was getting a little bored. Yeah, it's sad, and you need this stuff with Shadow to understand why he's so mad, but I feel like they could have written it to be a little bit more entertaining as well. Like, I get it, it's sad, but he's in this science area. They're running tests on him, but they could have had him doing more fun things to watch as opposed to just sitting on doctor's tables with probes on him and stuff like that. It started to be a little too much and too long, and I got a little bored. So structurally, I found that the middle act of this film kind of just weighed down the whole thing. And I also think that a lot of the characters in this film are underutilized. James Marsden really didn't need to be in this film, but I feel like they just keep bringing him back because he's kind of like the heart of Sonic. He's Sonic's like home beacon. You kind of need him in here for Sonic to make the right choices. It's like Sonic's North Star, but they keep not finding good ways to incorporate James Marsden in this movie, just like in the last film. And look, I love Shadow. He is definitely my favorite Sonic character next to Sonic, but I also love Knuckles, and he was wasted in this film. He is the brawler, he's the muscle. They talk about it
the entirety
of this film, yet he doesn't get in a single brawl with anybody. He doesn't get in any fight scenes. He was just kind of like there on the sidelines to be making jokes, and that's fine, but I was waiting for that moment where he would get like his Hulk moment, his Hulk smash moment, where he would get in a fight and be epic, and it just never happens. So that was a little disappointing too. I felt like he was definitely misused. But that being said, everything else about this movie worked really well. The introduction of Shadow is absolutely epic. The stuff he does in this movie is awesome. The third act, where him and Sonic finally have the fight scene that you're showing up to this film to watch, is akin to like one of the better episodes of Dragon Ball Z, where they're blasting each other through the atmosphere with these light beams, and it literally looks like a Dragon Ball Z fight. It was really epic, really well done, really well filmed. The emotion was there between Shadow and Sonic and the reasons why they were fighting each other. The stakes were high. It felt earned, and it was just really exciting to watch, and it's definitely one of the best fight scenes out of the entirety of the Sonic franchise. There's also a ton of heart in this film, which I really wasn't expecting outside of the Shadow character and his arc, but Sonic has a lot going into this as well in terms of like brotherhood and being a family and being a team and knowing who he is and staying true to who he is, and I thought it was all really effective. Yeah, I just wish that second act had a little bit more excitement in it to kind of bridge the first act awesomeness and the last act epicness. It just didn't, and like I said, I was bored, so it brought the movie down just a little bit, but not a lot. This is still a really well done movie. If you're a Sonic fan, I'm sure you're gonna have an absolute blast watching this. We are getting a fourth film, so that's exciting, and if you're not aware, there are 2 end credit scenes teasing 2 awesome things, so I highly recommend sticking around to watch both of them. Anyway, guys, at the end of the day, I'm going to give this movie an 8 out of 10. It was really enjoyable. Yes, the middle act dragged and I got a little bored, but it's not because it's bad. It's just because going into a Sonic film, that's especially a kid's film based off of a video game, I'm expecting almost each act, the first, second, and third, to all have a set piece that's exciting, whereas in the Shadow middle act just didn't. It just made you sad. So yeah, anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Did I give you a reason to go see this movie this weekend? Maybe I haven't. Let's talk about it. I'd love to hear from you guys, and as always, guys, I hope you have a great weekend, and I'll catch you next time.